Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame and Carta.
Sesame and Carta. Yes, my good friend Sesame and Carta.
Incarnate as well.
Yes, I'm thinking of changing my name to... Plain Bun Britannica. What are your thoughts on that?
What was the first name?
Plain Bun.
I guess.
Because I'm thinking of like buns with sesame seeds. You know, I'm trying to.
Well, yeah, but mine's just sesame. It's not sesame bun.
Yeah, that's true.
So you could just plain.
Okay, I'll be plain Britannica.
It's fine. It's not as good as.
No, it's not. I'll just stick with Mike.
It's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions for a name that I can go by from now on, just let me know. It's mike@cullenpark.com. But, you know, then I might have to change my whole website and everything.
Yeah.
That'd be difficult. But anyways, what are we covering today, Matthew?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the TV show.
Yeah, it's just called Fast Times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Times.
Yes. It's a television show that was a 1986 adaptation of the 1982 film with only 2 returning cast members. You had Vincent Schiavelli as Mr. Hector Vargas, and you had Ray Walston as Mr. Arnold Hand. There was like all your familiar, you know, characters were back here though, played by different people though. It was directed by Amy Heckerling, who this at least the pilot episode was, who directed the movie, and Cameron Crowe, who wrote the movie, based on his book that he wrote, where he actually did go undercover in a high school for Rolling Stone magazine.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a consultant on the show. And so, yeah, that's a little bit there. What did you think of this show, Matt?
I thought it was kind of weird. I didn't really like it that much. It was... I don't know. Like, my whole thing is, like, you can't act like someone else. Like, so you should just try to, like, if you're playing the character, you should just play, like, your version of the character and not try to act like the other actor. Because, like, nobody can really act like Sean Penn in that particular role. So, like, I was kind of... It's no offense against the actor. It's just that when you're, like... It's probably not his fault. They probably told him to try to act as much as, you know, Sean Penn would or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. He played a very similar character in the movie Summer School. Dean Cameron, the actor who played Spicoli in this.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I remember that. Okay, yeah. Now I was wondering.
So it makes me wonder if that's just how Dean Cameron was at the time.
Yeah, maybe that's why they chose him.
And maybe that's why they chose him, or if he was making, you know, concerted, you know, effort to act like Sean Penn.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah,
it was just, you know, for one thing, I'm not a huge fan of the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, I've seen it really. So I've seen it probably, you know, maybe 5 or 6 times, and it's okay, but it's not. I was never like like thrilled by it. Like,
see, the thing is, that movie was like before our time, or something.
Yeah.
I mean, even though a lot of people that are younger do like it, but it was 82.
Mm-hmm.
I was real little. You probably weren't born yet.
No, I wasn't.
No, so yeah.
But like, me and my friend Sean did used to like watch it to like like mimic some of like the weird high five moves, and then do that at school as like a joke to like make fun of it. Like so there was like a certain usefulness to watching the movie at that time, at least. And but some of the characters they're a little bit different. Like, for example, Mike Damone is kind of like, he wants to be cool, but he's not. Whereas in the movie, he actually was like the quote cool guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, whereas this guy, it's like he wishes he was the Mike Damone from the movie.
Yeah.
But he's not, type of thing. So they kind of changed that character up a little bit, which is fine, because I actually did not like the character of Mike Damone at all so I actually kind of like this version a little bit better. But I would rate it as maybe a C plus. That's my rating.
Yeah, I mean it it reminded me, so in a way it kind of was like, because of the time period that it takes place, it reminded me a little bit of like Dazed and Confused or Freaks and Geeks, even though this came before either one.
Yeah.
But so did Fast Times at Ridgemont High, though, too. So it was kind of like this whole... It could have been good given some time, maybe, but there was only 7 episodes. Didn't really have time to gel. I give it about a C as well. Good cast, I'll give them that. I mean, most of the actors in the cast went on to do other like notable things. So there's that. Or had done notable things before this. Yeah, so let's get into this. The pilot episode, just to run down the cast here really quick. You have Claudia Wells, who we know is Jennifer number 1 from the Back to the Future trilogy. She was in Back to the Future 1 just a year before this. She plays Linda Barrett. Courtney Thorne-Smith, who is also in summer school, plays Stacey Hamilton. An actor named James Nardini plays Brad Hamilton. Dean Cameron, as we've mentioned before, played Jeff Spicoli. Patrick Dempsey plays Mike Damone. We have a new character that's a teacher named Leslie Melon, played by Kit McDonough. We have, as I mentioned before, 2 returning characters. We have Mr. Hand and Mr. Vargas from the movie, played by the same actors. We have Jason Hervey in this episode, who would later go on to be on The Wonder Years, playing Curtis Spicoli, Spicoli's younger brother. We have Wallace Langham, who went on to be on CSI and have fame there, playing Ratner. So, there we go. That's our main cast.
Mm-hmm.
Decent cast, decent actors. The writing was kind of lackluster, and it's kind of hard to turn a R-rated teen comedy into a sitcom that's going to air on network television in 1986, you know?
Yeah, kind of. They did that to a couple other shows, too. I forgot which ones, where it was like, they like made it into like just like family friendly.
Yeah.
Thing. It just doesn't work.
And I mean, the thing is, like, taking a movie, like, as we've discovered in other events, like our Uncle Buck, review,
right?
Where you take a movie and try to turn it into a TV series. It's very rarely ever done well. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I'm like, Stargate probably did a great job,
That lasted like what, like 8 seasons?
Yeah, forever. And then you had like MASH, of course, which is the best example of a movie being adapted into a TV series.
Yeah. That's not it. There wasn't a whole lot of... I think there's a third one that worked. I'm trying to remember that lasted a while, but I can't... oh, well.
I'm sure there's some others out there. But the thing about MASH, too, like compared to this show, where, like you were saying earlier, when you don't try to carbon copy the character and make it your own, the actors on MASH weren't doing a one-for-one recreation of the characters. You know, Alan Alda's version of Hawkeye was a lot different than Donald Sutherland's.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, which I think is what had it, you know, what it had going for it, because it was able to, you know, differentiate itself from the movie and create its own style. Whereas this show was kind of trying to be the movie, but also try to be a network television show at the same time.
Right. Right. So it's just, you know, people try things, you know, same thing with the Ferris Bueller.
Oh, yeah, that was another one, yeah, that we covered.
We should return to that sometime and watch a few more episodes of that.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, this episode, we have, as far as the plot goes, we've got a very simple plot, really. Brad likes Linda, as he did in the movie. Linda was played by Phoebe Cates in the movie, and Brad was played by Judge Reinhold. So, if you guys don't remember. Linda, who as a rule doesn't date high school boys, ends up agreeing to go out with Brad, but only if it's like on the DL and nobody finds out.
Yeah, so that's nice.
That's our like A plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brad works at a different fast food joint in this than in the movie. It's like a made up one for the TV series.
Yeah, it's not All American Burger.
Yeah,
it's called
in the movie, All American Burger was an actual restaurant in the world at that time, so that's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the actual location I found out just randomly trying to figure out what the name, trying to remember the name of the restaurant. That it's a coffee bean and tea leaf cafe now. That building got turned into that out in California. So, so if you want to visit it, you're not going to find a burger joint. You're going to find a coffee place. So the I don't know what oh yeah, we had a B plot too, where Mr. Hand bets the new teacher, Miss Melon, that Spicoli will screw up his class presentation for her class. Bets her $1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our plot, basically.
That's pretty much it. I mean, that was literally it.
Yeah.
He doesn't, he never shows up on time. He goes to like the wrong, like he thought for some reason that the teacher's lounge was the bathroom, which I'm not sure how anyone would make that mistake, but okay. And then I guess because he's supposed to be high, but he never looked high or never talked like he was high. So is he just that like spacey that he just thinks the teacher's lounge is like the bathroom? Like, okay. And like he always shows up at like comedic moments, like right after they made the bet, he shows up like, "Oh, I didn't know." I know you're Facebook friends with the guy, so it's kind of hard to.
Well, no, it's fine. I am Facebook friends with Dean Cameron, but
okay.
I'm sure this isn't at the top of the list of movies and TV shows that he's been in.
Okay, it's like whenever you tell me something like that, it's like I feel like,
you can't
I really couldn't go.
I mean, the thing is, and the chances of Dean Cameron actually listening to our podcast, I don't know. I mean, maybe he will. Okay. But I would like to. I would like to have him. I would like to have him on the podcast. So.
Yeah. So, no offense, but like, my quote job here, which that's in quotation marks, is to be honest. So it's hard when Mike goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm Facebook friends with every single person in the world who's ever been in any movie ever, and by the way, we're gonna go all in and making fun of this show." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what to say now because I feel bad." Yeah.
I don't think we should have any boundaries here because the thing is with it, it's criticism is is an art itself. So, and the thing is this is something that was made, almost 40 years ago. So,
that's true. Yeah. All right. So anyway, so it's okay. So apparently it's like the like statute of limitations of like a crime type of thing. So like it's okay to make fun of, I guess. You know what I mean? Like 37 years have gone by. So it's like, so anyway, so he like shows up and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know this was not the bathroom." I don't know, something like that. And like Mr. Hand like looks over like, you see, like you're gonna lose this bet, type of thing, because like Mr. Hand's like the straight man, in this show and movie, and Spicoli just continues
the Abbott to everybody else's Costello.
Yeah. And Spicoli just continues to do really weird things throughout the show that are supposed to be funny, like reminiscent of the movie, but they're not, because again, you can't capture lightning, and I wouldn't consider Fast Times at Richmond High to be lightning, but a sparkle, I guess. Can't capture a sparkle.
Yeah.
But because I think in the movie at one point he was like using like the ketchup and mustard stuff to like put on like a burger, or I don't know. So like they have to have a scene, of course, where he's outside eating lunch at school, or he's like putting like a bunch of like jam on something. He's like, "Oh, you get it?" Well, in the movie he had ketchup and mustard, and that was funny, right? So we're gonna have him outside the quad or whatever at school putting stuff on his food because that was funny, right? And we're making a TV show after the movie, and it was funny, right? So it's gonna be funny again, right? And no, it wasn't funny. It was stupid. But anyway, so he goes around surfing, skateboarding, whatever he does with his time instead of school, because he's literally too cool for school, which is such a stupid attitude to have. Okay.
Are you sure? Because I think that being too cool for school is like the coolest, man.
Yeah. It's so cool that like, it hurts your chances of finding like a good paying job, and keeps you in poverty, and then poverty sucks because that like not only like limits your physical health, but also like affects your mental health in a really bad way. So yeah, it's all cool to go to the beach every day and surf and like, "Oh man, I don't care about anything." He literally even said, and I quote, "It doesn't matter, you can flunk me." Because his teacher, the one that actually cares about him, I don't think he really cared about the $1 bet, to be honest. It's not that much.
No, she just
cared.
She cared about trying to, actually motivate or help a student.
Yeah. So she actually, because she could see the potential. Because that's the thing. See, Spicoli actually does have a lot of good qualities. Very charming, very good speaker. He's very good of talking off the cuff. It's a very valuable trait to have, to be able to just speak like without any kind of preparation. Not everyone can do that. That's a talent right there. So he's got.
Even though he's kind of
he actually does have some pretty good quality.
Even though he's kind of like a stoner character, he's kind of like a Zach Morris.
Like a more adult version. Yeah.
But Zach was actually really smart, but at first he didn't want to be smart. He would actually use his smarts to get out of things.
Or to make money, easy, fast money, doing illegal activities such as like
selling scantily clad calendars of his friends
who are minors. Who are underage.
Yes.
That wasn't such a smart move on his part, no. but it's Zach Morris, so
yeah.
To be fair, I think he was a minor at the time, though, so I guess there may be some kind of wiggle room. I don't know.
No, actually, it's
not like I go around researching, like, you know.
Actually, I read a report. I know it's now though, but you know, or it was at least a few years ago. There's a thing where, like, if say there's two students in like that are minors, and they're friends, and like say one of them sends a naked picture to their boyfriend or girlfriend, that's technically considered child pornography.
Okay, so no matter what,
that person can still get in trouble, and their parents would probably get in trouble too. I
mean, that makes sense though, because you know, like that could go around, like, you know, immediately through just from sending it to someone else, or if someone else happens to find the phone, like if it gets lost or stolen or whatever. So I can understand that makes a lot of sense. But this is before that. This was just Zach Morris being an idiot.
Yeah.
But Spicoli is kind of like the adult version, or like the more like edgy version of Zach Morris, kind of. And so she actually follows him to the beach because she knows he likes to hang out there and go surfing every morning. So we had another B plot, maybe it's like a C plot, where just like in the movie, he never shows up to class on time, and that's Mr. Hand's like only rule is to show up on time.
Yeah, it was kind of like a B plus plot or something like that, because it was kind of like part of the B plot. I'll grant you that, good sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not like I have the power to grant things, but anyway, so she because he doesn't show up on time, so then Mr. Hand, you know, calls on him, basically makes him explain himself in front of the class, and like I said, this is one of his abilities to just sort of speak off the cuff. So he comes to this really weird argument about how he always goes surfing before school, and the waves only come at like a certain time or whatever. So like he has to like rush really fast from the beach to school, and that like takes an extra 20 minutes. So from his perspective, he's actually trying harder to get to school on time than the other students because they're just coming straight from home, whereas he's coming from the beach. I'm like, okay, that's a really weird, convoluted argument. All right. And then Mr. Hand's like, this is assuming that your argument that you need to go surfing in the morning before school is like an actual necessity. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm glad you see my point of view, or what, I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, and then like Mr. Hand does like this whole like, exasperated, like, what, I can never get through to Spicoli, you know, type of thing. And I'm having a lot of fun talking about this, so
that's fine. I mean, I am too. It's like it's an interesting thing. I mean, it's kind of like when we covered that Bill and Ted TV series, where it's weird to watch the people trying to be these characters from a movie.
And plus, that had a really weird element too, where like it was like a comic strip that came to life or something.
Episode was
that was actually pretty decent.
I've seen every episode of that show. Actually, I haven't seen every episode of Fast Times, and I don't know if I want to. But
that's the other thing too. So like YouTube like has like a pretty lax policy when it comes to like really old videos like this. Like they're really heavy-handed on like copyright material, but they're for whatever reason they're okay with people like uploading like old pilot. This couldn't even get on YouTube. It had to be on Daily.
It's on Daily Motion or whatever. Yeah, if you'd like to watch it, let us know. We'll give you a link. But yeah.
The Daily Motion was basically kind of like a YouTube mock-up. I don't know which came first. Probably YouTube.
Yeah,
but Daily Motion could never quite get up. I mean, it's still there, obviously, but like could never quite.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time where I think they were almost tied because Daily Motion has a laxer policy, I think, when it comes to uploads than YouTube does. Probably because they don't make as much money, so they don't give a shit, you know. But yeah, we couldn't even find this on YouTube. We had to go on Daily Motion, which I've hardly. I think the last video I saw on Daily Motion was like a movie for free that I couldn't find on YouTube. So again, same kind of thing. So if you want the really weird stuff that you can't find on YouTube, just go with Daily Motion. I think they'll be really happy.
You have a better chance of finding it there. Do you want to take a break right here now, Matt?
Yeah, sure. I'll take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break and we'll come right back and we'll talk more about this fun episode.
Yeah.
No Outlet Live.
Hey, I'm Jay Remy, host of No Outlet Live. If you're in a podcast that explore any and everything, check us out. We stream anywhere you listen or watch podcasts, or just type No Outlet Live, one word, in your Google search bar to find the show. Live Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook. No Outlet Live, your road to boredom ends here. Do you like Tessa? Do you think this will be a date that can last?
Well, she's not very articulate.
And we are back. Okay, so what else happens at the end of this plot here, Matt?
So the teacher, she goes finds Spicoli on the beach and basically like asks him to do a good presentation for her because her reputation's on the line, sort of. So he decides to like do that solid for her, man. And then also during the B plot or C plot, whatever, Linda and what's his name, Adam, or is it?
Brad.
Brad.
Yeah, they
Linda and Brad actually. What's that?
Yeah, they go on their date,
which kind of turns out weird because she took him because she didn't want anyone knowing about the date, so they went to see a movie marathon about Yugoslavian war films,
prison films.
Prison films.
Yes.
Weird. And then
even better.
Which is interesting that we watched this because now we got stuff going on in Eastern Europe, so that's like a weird kind of coinkydink right there. But and then they're gonna go to like a cheap burger place, but then like the guy who works there knows Brad, so then she realizes that everyone knows about the date, that no one's supposed to know about. So then she, basically just wants to bail on him, and he's like, he remembered one of his friends said something about like, oh, humor, gets you like 90% there or whatever. So then, because she kind of said something about his like car, like, and called it like an old car or something like that. So then he goes into this whole like shtick about like, you gotta apologize to my car. It took you everywhere you wanted to go and leisure and comfort and all this kind of stuff. So then, she thought that was cute. So then she apologized to the car, and then she got back in the car to listen to music. And then they're like, oh, what should we do now? And then he's like, I don't know. And then she's like, what are you going to tell people? And he's like, oh, it depends on what we do. And then they fade away, so no one knows what happens. They probably kissed her. And then, maybe.
Or maybe they were abducted by aliens. We will never know.
That could have happened too, because we didn't see them afterwards.
No.
They were not in the show after that. So that very well could have happened. But because they were like secluded. That's where all the you ever notice abductions always happen in secluded areas? It never happen like in the city. It's always like in the woods or no one else can prove it or testify.
I've recently moved to a smaller city, so now I'm worried.
Well, you might just want to watch your back here and there if you hear some weird laser sounds or whatever.
Yes.
It might just be me with like my radio playing laser sounds or whatever. But
please don't do that.
But I won't. But so then that happens. They probably have sex or whatever. I don't know. And then the teacher, I forgot her name. She's waiting for Spicoli to show up. He's late as usual. Which is weird because I thought like schools normally have like a detention thing where or you get written up if you're late. So because that happened to me, I was always late to class all the time.
You get in trouble for that. You get a detention. There's an attendance policy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't like a bad student or I wasn't like Spicoli like being late thinking it was like cool to be late. I was just always late all the time. So I did have to serve detention a few times. Just for being late, literally just 5 minutes, but
I missed 4 days of school in high school.
What's that?
I only missed 4 days of school in high school.
That's insane, man. That's absolutely insane. That's wow. I probably missed months actually. Well, then maybe not months, but Anyway, it's not about me. It's about Spicoli. But so Spicoli shows up late as per usual, and then Mr. Hand's in the classroom. And then, of course, Spicoli's like, "Oh, Mr. Hand, I didn't know you were in this class too." Doing his stupid stoner act or whatever. I'm so sorry to your friend. I don't mean to. And then, Mr. Hand does like, "Oh, Spicoli, get your head in the game," type of thing. Look on his face. That's like his shtick or whatever. And then Spicoli just does this rando presentation where he's got his younger brother as his subject or whatever, like a fashion thing. He's like, "Check out this haircut, and we bleached this part right here or whatever, and it used to have a tail at the end of his hair, but the bleach cut that off." And then he's like, "As you can see, the shorts that he's wearing, they go down this length as far as possible." Or I don't know what he's talking about. Something. And he's like, "Wait a minute, those are my shorts. I didn't say you could wear that." I don't know. They get some stupid banter going on, and Mr. Hand's he's like, "Yeah, this is really interesting. Really? Do you actually think? Come on, you're actually falling for this bullshit, Mr. Hand? Really? Okay." And then he, his brother does these cool skateboard tricks because, of course, it's 1986. And you have to have cool skateboard tricks. I mean, would it be 1986 if there weren't cool skateboard tricks? I don't think so. I think we'd be living in the alternate timeline if that were the case. So, of course, he does the cool thing where he jumps off the desk and does the whole flip or whatever. They have names for these things. I don't know. And then, of course, he's like, "And you see these shoes, blah, blah, special shoes. Always leave them untied." I'm like, okay, it's the dumbest idea ever. Why would you leave your shoes untied? The entire point of shoes is to have them tied. That's their number one function.
And I always find it funny, at that time, skaters all wore high tops, like he was pointing out to the fact. But then later on, kind of Vans became more popular, which were more lower top.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just stupid.
Anyways,
and then, So then, he does his presentation. Everyone's like, "Yes, Spicoli," and even one of the kids was mouthing the phrase he was about to say, because I guess he worshipped them. He's like, "Say the phrase, say the phrase." "Yeah, I'm gonna say it along with you because I love you. I love you so much, Spicoli. Would you please be my partner?" Type of thing. I don't know. That's just my fandom going on right there. My shipping right there of those two characters, the one who has no line throughout the entire episode, and Spicoli. But then the teacher's like, "All right, well, what's the message of your presentation?" He's like, "Message," doing his whole Spicoli thing. He's like, "Yeah," getting all nervous, "Yeah, all of our presentations, they have a message at the end of what it's about." And he's like, "Kids today, they're scary, man." I'm like, okay, what?
And then, of course, appealed to Mr. Hand.
And he thought that was the most brilliant thing. See, what I think is happening going on. See, I think there's an abusive relationship going on, where I think Spicoli is emotionally abusive to Mr. Hand, because so Mr. Hand has a very tough exterior, but he's ultimately a pushover, because you ever notice he always just lets him be late all the time, even though he gets mad at him. I think Spicoli knows that about Mr. Hand, so he's playing him constantly. It's kind of narcissistic if you think about it. So I'm actually kind of changing my view of Spicoli a little bit right now, because there's a darker side to his charm where he's basically just manipulating Mr. Hand all the time.
There's a horror movie in there somewhere.
There is. He's convinced him at his bullshit presentation that, let's be honest, he probably came up with on the way to school, and just took his younger brother. By the way, what's that all about? Doesn't his younger brother have to go to school too? Did he just make his brother just call off school sick or something?
Maybe he kidnapped him.
So he could do his presentation? That's weird right there. Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Hand goes along with it, starts clapping, because he doesn't know what to do. He's like, "Yes, why am I clapping for Spicoli? He abuses me. I don't know what I'm doing," And then there it is. It's the horror movie. It's called Mr. Hand, because at the end of it, he cuts off his hand, and I don't know why, but that's just part of it. And then
Then we have the
I've
credits.
I've had no caffeine today at all. I have no idea why I'm so wired.
So, do you want to hear a little bit of trivia here really quick? And then,
yeah, please stop me.
Yes, okay. So, the Fast Times show debuted on CBS as a mid-season replacement on March 5th of 1986. The show only lasted 7 episodes. Cameron Crowe, as we said before, was a creative consultant on the show. And was on set during the filming of the pilot. So that's that. The theme song heard during the opening credits, called Fast Times, was written by Danny Elfman and performed by his band Oingo Boingo.
Wow.
Yes, that Danny Elfman. The series was not shot at Van Nuys High School like the original film was. A closed high school in Glendale, California was used. All of the major characters from the film were also in the series, but only actors Ray Walston and Vincent Scavelli reprised their roles from the film. The TV series, however, introduces the new character not in the film. This character is Miss Leslie Melon, a touchy-feeling teacher who is the exact opposite of the hard-boiled, no-nonsense Mr. Hand. While not represented in the film, this character is very similar to Mrs. George in Cameron Crowe's original book that the movie was based on. An unused script that was never filmed had Spicoli convinced that Mr. Hand is the devil after he watched Damn Yankees on TV, which featured actor Ray Walston as a singing Satan.
Whoa.
Episode 5 was co-written and directed by Amy Heckerling. Moon Zappa appears as Linda and Stacy's friend Barbara. Jason Hervey of The Wonder Years plays Spicoli's little brother Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the trivia here. So user reviews here, buddy. From the Internet Movie Database that we've culled from there. Here's one from Sarge Bree, written on April 20th of 2005. He says, why? This short-lived series was a lame attempt at trying to make money off the classic film. The cast of this show never lived up to the standard of the original cast set with the film. In fact, Dean Cameron's portrayal of Spicoli never came anywhere close to the standard Sean Penn set. The only saving grace of this show was the fact that Ray Walston came aboard to play Mr. Hand. At least he brought a little bit of the charm that made his wickedly funny performance one of the highlights of the film. The same can be said of Vincent Scavelli as Mr. Vargas. Unfortunately, this show isn't 1/10 as funny or relevant as the film that inspired it. So another one, and that was no stars at all. I don't know if they just didn't have the star system when they wrote that or what. Here's one from April 22nd of 2021, written by Shooter Steve. It's a 3 out of 10. God awful. The casting in this is atrocious. One of the things that made the movie so great was the casting and the chemistry the cast had. This cast has zero chemistry. It's a wonder it even lasted 7 episodes. Pretty much all of the reviews are bad. So that's what we're going to go with for now.
Yeah. I'm still going to give it a C+.
Yeah, I'll give it a C+ too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all all I have to say on this matter. If you know of any other bad sitcoms you'd like us to review, please let us know. Mike@cullenpark.com. Any other final thoughts here, Matt?
The name is Sesame.
I'm sorry, I meant Sesame. It's going to take me. I mean, I've known you for going on 20 years, and you've always been Matt.
That's true.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, no, not really. I mean, I've already said everything I was going to say.
Me
was
too.
Going off on a tangent
So yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a good high school, TV show, watch like even Ferris Bueller. Watch Fast Times is not good. Watch Freaks and Geeks. Watch My So-Called Life. Watch AP Bio. Watch
Yeah.
you know,
Watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
yeah, watch watch Beverly Hills 90210. I mean, they're all better than this shit. And so yeah. Anyways, if you'd like to, keep up with us, you can check us out on Facebook. Check us out on the Twits and the Talks and the Grams.
Keeping up with the Encartas.
Yes,
we could do like
the Encartas. Yes,
we could do like a reality-based show. As like an addition to the podcast, and just like.
Yes, if you'd like us to do that on YouTube, please go to our Patreon and give us money.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be as interesting because we don't have like millions of dollars or whatever to like go to places and like do things, but like it could just be us just like eating noodles or like
going to Wendy's or something.
Something. Keeping up with the Encartas.
Yeah. So, anyways, also, go to our TeePublic. We got T-shirts there. By the time this airs, we might have links in our show notes. You can get some Cullen Park T-shirts too, where we get $10 off of each one sold. So that'd be cool.
Yep.
Also, be good to each other, people. Wear a mask. Wear a condom.
Yeah.
And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.